conspiracy theories have been proven true, like MK Ultra and things like that. So like, I believe in certain things. I'll tell you, some of those people at that conspiracy show was like, all right, now you've gone crazy to me. like so some things are like obviously true. I mean, I don't even believe in our government. You know, I believe there's a secret society that runs everything behind us. I think it's crazy to not believe that.
Las distracciones y narrativas reinan este mundo tecnológico. Todos tienen una opinión de lo que es la verdad y lo que es mentira. ¿Quién controla el mundo? Los aliens son real. ¿Vivimos en un Matrix? Estas preguntas serán debatidas con José y Daniel G, explorando y descubriendo las verdades de nuestro mundo, nuestras creencias y nuestro reality. Welcome to Cultura Truth Project. Dímelo, mi gente. What is up? It's another one. Estamos de vuelta. We're back, bro.
We're back. It's another beautiful day. It's another beautiful day of the week, guys. Welcome back to Cultura Truth Project. Toda mi gente de Rusia, que es la que hay. Obra, I don't know what y'all language y'all speak, but what's going on? I don't know.
That's right, guys. Welcome back to Cultura Truth Project. I'm Jose G. Daniel G conmigo. As always, aquí hablando mierda. We're gonna be talking. We got a pretty cool guest today.
Dude, it's one of the best.
Yeah, we do. So the guest that we got today, I met him last month in Summerfield, which is about 2 hours here from Orlando, and his name is Eugene Torres. Great comic, and funny enough, bro, that you have like a pretty deep connection with him, bro.
I do, actually. I met him about 3-4 years ago now, while doing comedy in Orlando for the first time, if you remember that. We made a relationship. He's been in Texas. I've been in Orlando. We've done shows together. He's tried to get me booked, but you know, my dirty mouth doesn't get me booked in many places because of my foul language. But you know, it's okay. Dude is one of the real ones. I can't wait to talk to him. Eugene Torres is my boy.
Yeah, so
by the way, he also does jiu-jitsu. So this is
all right.
You might know.
We're gonna get into it, bro, because we're gonna be talking Ryan Garcia this weekend. He had a great interview on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet David. We're gonna talk about some of the conspiracies surrounding Garcia. We're gonna talk about Eugene and his career. We're gonna talk about all of that. Make sure you guys follow us on all the socials. Síguenos en YouTube and Rumble, Cultura Truth Project. Make sure you follow at Gonzalez Media TV on Facebook and on Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. And if you want to be a part of the Supporters Club, join the Supporters Club on Spreaker for $3 a month. Tres pesitos, all right? Cheaper than a bag of Skittles. Shout out to Donut. Link in the description. Make sure you join the Supporters Club where you get the pre-show stuff that we record that you can't get on YouTube, you can't get on Rumble, you could only get it on Spreaker. So $3 a month, Supporters Club, link in the description. So let's bring it on, bro. Let's bring on Eugene to the convo and to the show. Woo, woo, woo!
What up?
I need to get myself a board, bro. I need to get myself a board with like the applauses and the boos and the yay. I'm gonna do by the end of next month. I'm gonna get me one of them boards.
Now, that's Danny's job. He just got to do sound effects the whole time.
Hey, welcome to the show, bro. Thanks for coming on Cultura Truth Project. Appreciate you, bro. I had the pleasure of meeting you last month. So a great way to start off the relationship. But thank you for coming on the show. Before we get started with everything, bro, where can the people find you on socials and on all that stuff? Plug your stuff in real quick.
Eugene Torres Comedy on Instagram, and then it's Eugene Comedy on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling that nowadays. That's pretty much it. EugeneTorresComedy.com. There's the website. Pretty easy to find me.
Awesome,
I'm the only
bro.
Eugene Torres doing comedy, I think.
There you go,
As of
bro.
right now, yeah, one of the funniest guys I know, man. This dude,
I appreciate that, man.
Writes,
Thank you.
he writes and he does classy Latino comedy, guys. He's just not he's a comic who happens to be Latino. You
Bro,
know
Yo,
what I'm saying?
I used to be dirty as fuck, by the way.
Dude,
Eugene, it turns out that you actually got a connection with my boy Kelvin. I know Kelvin from like nearly 10 years ago before.
Kelvin, that's my homie.
Yeah, bro. So Kelvin and I go way back. I know Kelvin said de chamaquito, bro, from like before he became a social media star. I interviewed him a few years ago. So, bro, I'm awesome. I'm very happy that you got to collab with Kelvin because he's a great guy, great human being. And we're gonna show his video here that you did because you guys did a really hilarious Puerto Rican boot camp. And we're going to show that later in the episode. But guys, make sure you follow Eugene Torres on all the socials, on YouTube, on Instagram, on everywhere. Make sure you book him. Whoever's listening worldwide, bro, make sure you book him because he is hilarious, mi gente. So, Eugene, cuéntanos, papi. What are you working on? What's going on, bro? Dímelo.
I'm just, working as a comic. You never know when you got shows and stuff. That's all it is. I'm a gig worker. So it's like just trying to stay booked all the time. That's really it. I mean, I write other stuff. I've been writing sketches with Kelvin, as you said. But other than that, I'm just trying to become the best comedian that I can be. I feel like, as Puerto Ricans, we don't have that guy.
Well, we have a couple of guys, but there's not a mainstream guy.
We got like Mark Vieira, right? But like
Mark Vieira, yeah, we got Mark Vieira. He's been on the Ha Festival. He's been in a couple HBO specials, but there's not a guy that transcends.
Like, I don't know how you felt growing up or like when you fell in love with comedy, but I've been a fan of comedy since I was a kid. Like,
oh, same here. Actually, Jose was the guy who introduced me to what I consider my comedy idol, which is John Leguizamo. Fuck his politics.
Of course,
but
it had to be Leguizamo, right? Because
Leguizamo for me was a huge eye opener for the Latino community, especially being a Puerto Rican, growing up in Miami. That was huge for me, bro. Seeing a guy at that level representing the Latin community, bro, that was huge. But my foundation goes back to Eddie Murphy, bro. So, like, when we're talking comedy, my first exposure to a stand-up comedy special was Eddie Murphy's Delirious, bro. When he was wearing that purple fucking jumpsuit that was made out of latex, bro. That was it for me. And then when his second one came out, Raw, bro, that was just it for me. And I'm surprised that I never got into the comedy game because I love it so much. I love watching it, but I know I always say that Danny has bigger balls than I do because I never could do comedy. But then again, I stepped into a wrestling ring and he didn't.
Yo,
but I've competed in jiu-jitsu matches on TV, so it's okay. It's fine. Bigger balls are relative, right?
But what I was saying about like coming up as a Latino, like I liked black comedy when I started because we didn't have that like Puerto Rican like superstar. Like if I was looking for a Latino comic, it was going to be a Mexican.
And they don't speak to us. They don't speak to us. And I mean, like, as a Caribbean Latino, right? Let it be if you're Cuban, Dominican, Colombian, doesn't matter. If you're like not Mexican, George Lopez doesn't speak to you. You know what I'm saying? And this is something I tell people here in Texas all the time. And they're like, dude, you're so different, but it's so hard to hit here. And it's like, it's not hard. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
I've proved to myself that I can go back home and kill just as hard in front of my own crowd than I can in a Texas crowd. And it's like, okay, it's not me. It's cultural references that you guys don't understand that I grew up with, right? Like I know what Slam Civic that's playing reggaeton louder than, to disrupt NASA communications, like I know that.
I hear Kissimmee from my house every night.
Facts, bro.
Like where we lived in Kissimmee, bro, like we were literally 2 blocks away from BVL. So it was like legit, like Spanish Harlem. Like I tell people, it's like, yo, I lived in Spanish Harlem.
That's an acronym, right, Eugene? BVL?
Yeah.
You know what it stands for?
No, I've heard it, but I don't know what you're talking about.
So BVL stands for Boricuas Viviendo Large.
So that's what y'all call that over there, for real?
So the name of the neighborhood is Buenaventura Lakes.
Of course. Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, Puerto Ricans, Boricua viviendo libre, Boricua viviendo large.
No, bro, because the Jeffersons moved up to the east side, so the Puerto Ricans moved up to BVL, bro.
Bro, it's
like Washington Heights.
bro, it's crazy. It's crazy because at least for me, and I don't know about you, Eugene, and you can elaborate, but like, especially like my first couple years of comedy, I found myself talking a lot about like the stuff I went through as a Puerto Rican kid in Florida. And I struggled so hard to get that to connect here in Texas, because here in Texas is like, if you're not talking about cowboys, if you're not talking about Mexican shit, if you're not talking about all that, it's like, okay, well, we can't relate to you. And then, you know, somewhere around 2021, mid 2021, when I finally started going back to Florida and doing my shows, it was like, oh, there's an audience that recognizes and sees what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard, especially in a, well, unfortunately, while Puerto Ricans are, we're like cockroaches, we're everywhere. We're still not the majority of Hispanics in the United States. It's mostly Mexicans, and they just got to walk across the border. Like, no disrespect to any migrants, but that's just the fact. They get the
we just got to catch a plane ticket, though.
Oh yeah, no, they still want to marry us. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? They still want that 10.
All right.
But for me, like
by the Mexicans, saludo a los mexicanos. We love you.
No, I got a lot of Mexican fans, by the way. I've done Texas 1,000 times, but like for me, I'm the opposite of you, Dan. And like I grew up as a comic. When I started comedy, I was just doing my impression of what I thought stand-up comedy was, and like I never knew anybody like me. I didn't grow up around other Puerto Ricans, so like I got that from my dad, and then the whole Puerto Rican boot camp series that I do with Kelvin is based on a premise of a bit I used to do when it would be me going to my grandparents' house, and then all of a sudden I'm over here rolling pateles or fucking doing whatever, right? But then we would go home and I wouldn't have any of that. And
interesting.
So here we got both sketches here. Great. Both of them went viral. So congratulations, bro. Congratulations on the work that you guys put behind this, because I'm a producer myself. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a content creator, and I know how hard putting a sketch and putting things like this together, and for it to be successful, bro, it's literally throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
But Kel's the king of this. I just had to be funny and write some stuff. Kel's the king of this.
But no, Kel kills it. So shout out to Kel. We need to get Kel. But by the way, after the show, I need to get Kel's number off of you, because I lost it. I have his email, but I want to get his direct contact, so I need to get Kel's number off of you. But yes, I'll have him on the show. But I know how hard it is as a content creator to create captivating content and to create it for such an audience. So I want to run this. It's amazing. It's hilarious. So I'm going to run it real quick.
No sound, Jose. There we go. Try it again.
Private Eugene, if a Puerto Rican is low on blood sugar, what do you do?
Feed him mofongo, sir!
I can't hear you!
Give him mofongo! Con mofongo, sir!
Scenario private, the plane starts to land in Puerto Rico. What do?
We clap, sir! We clap!
Damas y caballeros, estamos aterrizando en Puerto Rico. Let me hear it! Louder! Private, what do you do when you have a cough?
Vicks!
What do you do when you have a sore throat?
Vicks!
What do you do when you have car issues?
Vicks!
Now rub some on your chest. You get invited to an event, Private. At what time do you show?
All right. Eugene, what time do you show up at a party?
Oh, you show up hella late, man. At least 2 hours.
1 hour before, sir.
Incorrect. 1 hour later, and you tell them you got stuck in traffic. Now give me 25 more. Here in my hand, I carry a what, Private?
Empanadilla, sir.
That is incorrect. It is a pastelillo. Now go run and give me 20.
That's hilarious. How hard did you not laugh? We were trying not to laugh when he smacked you with that pastelillo.
So that was my idea. Like, he just wanted to show it, and I go, no, it's gonna be funnier if you hit me with it, right? But we had 3 of them, and the first time he hit me, it just split open so perfectly, and we both just died. I was like, all right, we got to do this again. There was a lot of times we were breaking during that. But me and him just hit it off. So like, he's like, I think we just on the same vibe. We just vibe the same way. So like, it was just a collab that worked out great. And then, I've been taking him to do spots with me in stand-up because he does stand-up now.
That's awesome, dude. That's so awesome. I love that. That's the best thing about comedy, Jose. And I'm gonna tell you this is that when you make friends and you genuinely find them funny, or even if they're on the come up and you believe who they are as people, it's like you're like, bro, let's go together. Let's all get better together. It's like the one thing in all of art, right? Let it be performance art, right? As dancing, doesn't matter. Comedy's unique in this way, where yes, it's very competitive, but like when you make the homies in comedy, it's like, bro, we're about to take over this whole thing together.
I love it, bro.
So that's what I want to do, by the way. So like y'all seen Joe Coy got that special where he goes back to the Philippines and he just puts on for other Filipino artists. I want to do that with Puerto Ricans. I want to get all the funniest Puerto Ricans I know and let's put together one crazy project. So that's all I'm trying to do right now. Like I told you. Let me
tell you, bro. Let me tell you, this ain't a mistake because Gonzalez Media is looking to expand. And if we can put on a comedy show, we're gonna do it, bro.
Then I'm down. We'll do it because, like I said, I didn't start off doing Latino shit because there was nobody like me. But then I didn't really find my voice until I leaned into it. And now, like, I have people supporting me. Like, I've had people drive like 5-6 hours to come see me do comedy. And it's just crazy, because they feel what I'm actually doing. I'm not just a guy writing jokes that might be funny.
And you're being genuine and authentic about it too, which is the most important thing about this whole social media game, because as a comedian or even just as a content creator, being authentic and genuine to the game or whatever you're doing or putting out is really, really important, bro. So important. And I think the fact that you're leaning into it is something that a lot of artists can learn from, because sometimes people, and I've been a victim of this of myself, of trying to appease others instead of kind of like going with my gut feeling. You know what I'm saying?
So it changed for me the day Abuelo died. When my grandfather died, I went on stage and I just riffed about like spending time with him. And in that riff, I came up with this bit about like cockfighting, because he used to have like a palenque in the basement, all this stuff. He was like, and I just came up with this bit and it became the bones for like one of my favorite bits because it's such a real thing. And that got a lot of love from different people when I were performing. And they didn't just have to be Latinos, because regardless if they could relate to our truth and maybe shared experience, they can at least relate to the emotional truth that came from it. And I noticed that and I was like, okay, we're just real from now on, just real life. I don't sit down and look at the news and go, okay, here's fucking whatever's the hot topic and let me try to make that pop. I sit here and I just mine all my memories and go, okay, what was funny in my life that made me who I am today?
You know, that's the one skill I think a lot of Latin comedians now are starting to really cultivate. Guys like Ralph Barbosa, you know, I came up with him here in DFW. I remember he's several years ahead of me, but he was kind of on that cusp when I first started. And I remember doing spots with him at Creek in the Cave and, you know, at Vulcan, and he was, you know, putting together his first special. And I think about it and it's like, I remember when this kid was doing open mics, just throwing shit at the wall. And all of a sudden, just one day it clicked. And he wasn't doing hacky, hey, I'm a Mexican guy. He was like, hey, I got a baby mom, you know, talking about that. And it's like, I'm a Mexican I'm a comic who happens to be Mexican. And it was just one of those things. It's like, he's marrying that new school style of comedy, the not just a storytelling, but like telling the truth of what you've experienced while being funny at it. You know, what Dave Chappelle kind of taught the public, what, you know, Bill Burr's teaching the public, what guys like Mark Vieira is teaching the public is like, hey, I don't have to talk about the news and talk about the president to be funny. I'm gonna talk about my real life and what's going on. You know, like one of my favorite bits, I think, is from Mark Vieira. Every time I see it, it goes viral every couple of months, you know, in Puerto Rican TikTok. It's like, you know, when you encounter the Tia with the huge eyelashes, she was like, bro, every time she blinks, it's like a freaking Category 4 hurricane. You're just, by carajo,
that's the joke that I came up with like 25 years ago, bro.
Yeah. Well, he's getting paid for it and you're not.
He's getting paid for it, bro.
He's getting paid for it and you're not. But
plus, I have like the New Yorker culture in me too, because my family grew up in New York. Like my aunt was like gangster, man. I remember the first time I ever even remember meeting my aunt, and we in the streets and she's just yelling at people. I'm like, this is what y'all do?
Bro.
Yeah, but that's but she's New Rican though, right?
Yeah, she's New Rican.
But that's a different breed than Puerto
That's what I'm
Rican.
saying. So not only do I have
bro.
like that, but then I have like our fucking subset of New Ricans over here too that
exactly
that really mess with me.
So what, like, where does the family sit there, bro? Like do you have a section of your family that's like Boricuas, like born in the island, and that they go up against the New Ricans and we're like, este tipo, este no es Boricua,
No, it's
es
all
New
love.
Rican.
It's all love with my family. But I definitely like my grandparents grew up on the island, and then like half of my aunts and uncles were born there, and then the other half were born in New York. So it's the same family in like half and half.
Oh, there was shade during Christmas, bro. Trust me, there was shade. There was shade. There was always shade.
They Jehovah's Witness, so there was no Christmas.
That's funny, bro.
So we weren't holding it until 3 Kings Day. We didn't do nothing.
We're gonna touch on that in a little bit. I want to finish up the skit real quick so we can check it out real quick. Hold on, let me put it right back on here, bro, because this shit is hilarious. I'm gonna show part 2 here real quick. So make sure you guys follow Eugene on Instagram so you can catch all these reels.
Miles, scenario private. You go to your white friend's house. What do you bring with you?
Sazon, sir.
And what else?
No say, I don't know.
Adobo. Give me 20 more, Private. Private Eugene, if a Puerto Rican is low on blood sugar.
Then we got part 2. It's right over here.
What do you do with a group of Puerto Ricans in your living room, Private?
You bring cerveza and play Bad Bunny, sir.
Let me see your best dance moves. That is incorrect, Private. It is all in the hips.
So that part right there, that's what I'm talking about, us having good chemistry. So this part was written by Kel, this little dance part. And I go, I don't dance, man. And he goes, that's going to be funny. We're going to do it. And then he goes, it's all in the hips. But I'm a comic. So I looked at him and then I just started copying him. And he started laughing at that. And he's like, we got to reshoot this because we have to make sure that part enters it. And that's just teamwork, man.
That was great.
That's so good.
If something stinks, Private, what do we say?
I fall.
I what?
I fall.
I what?
I fall.
Outstanding. Other than Puerto Rico, where do you find Puerto Ricans?
New York.
Where else?
Chicago.
Where else?
Miami.
That is incorrect, Private. Miami is for the Cubans. Guess again.
Kissimmee.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Yo soy boricua, pa' que tú lo sepas.
Yo soy boricua, pa' que tú lo sepas.
When I say huepa, you say huepa, huepa.
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 Private, what do we put on pasteles?
Pique.
And what if somebody decides to put ketchup?
You asked them to leave, sir.
That is remarkable, Private. Private, what is something that we always carry with us?
A Puerto Rican flag, sir.
How many?
1, sir.
That is incorrect. As many as you can carry. Now go run and wave that flag proudly. Let me hear you say huepa.
Huepa.
What do you do?
That whole video is teamwork, bro. Like, so like I had the yo soy boricua pa que tú lo sepa line. I go, let's do that like the chant instead of like, I don't know what I've been told. And then our cameraman goes, yo, climb up on that dirt hill and do that. And we're going to catch you with the sun going behind you. And it was just a team. It just worked, man.
All right, let's settle this for all the Puerto Ricans out there. Ketchup or no ketchup on your pasteles?
Yeah, no ketchup.
No ketchup, bro.
No ketchup. Team no ketchup. Team no ketchup, bro. Cultura Truth Project does not endorse ketchup on your pasteles.
Hell no.
Here's the thing, like ketchup is hiding the flavor. Like so for example, like my brother's wife likes to pretend that she likes Puerto Rican cuisine.
Of course.
But every now and then I catch her putting like ranch on like arroz con gandules and stuff. I go, what are you doing? And my dad has to play the peacekeeper. He's like, nah, be nice. That's just how she. Nah, that's disrespectful.
That's blasphemy, bro.
And that's how I feel about ketchup. That's how I feel about ketchup.
Bro, but here's the thing, right? Like, if you're like legit Puerto Rican from the island,
arroz con gandules, dude.
hey, Jose, don't start. We have a cousin that put ketchup on everything.
Yo, for real.
Bro, like on everything.
Soup, bro. Who puts ketchup on soup?
Put ketchup on soup, on eggs, on everything, bro. If it was cereal, he'd find a way to put ketchup. He was like, bro,
no, man.
And I'd be like, dog, but why? He was like, ketchup is the world. And I'm like, is it? Like, it's not. Like, not for me. I don't know. But it's weird. It's weird. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
It's hiding everything, man.
It's hiding. It's hiding. It's hiding it. All right, but if it's mayo ketchup, it's acceptable.
For other things.
like what, bro? Like what? Like tostones? Like you go with
yeah,
mayo
that's
ketchup
fine.
with
That's
tostones?
fine. That's fine.
All right, good. What else?
Stuff you're gonna dip. Okay.
Okay. All right. But like you
The
want to like
dippables.
slather on a piece of bread and just eat like mayo ketchup on with bread. Because that's
I've been broke enough that I might do that. I ain't gonna lie. I've been yo.
We've been broke enough that we've done that.
Yeah. I've been broke enough that like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do that.
What about sandwichito mezcla?
I don't like sauces in general. If I'm being real though, like ketchup and all that.
How do you eat pizza, bro? Like pizza has sauce.
Yeah, but you're not. But then you see like people dip pizza in ranch again. I don't know. It's these Americans be doing that, but like,
But then, you know what though? Okay, there is something to that though, because we had this white girlfriend. Danny remembers her. Her name. Shout out to Danielle. I doubt she's probably gonna listen to this, but Danielle, she would like dip it a little bit, and she's like, try it, and I'm like, no, that's disgusting. And I'm like, no, but try it. And I tried it because she was hot. I'm like, who's not gonna say no to a hot girl? So. I mean, I'm fresh on my divorce. I'm kind of desperate. So you know what? I'm going to say yeah. So I try it and I was like, okay, it's not that bad, but I could only do just a little bit. Like I can't be like, do the whole fucking pizza and ranch. I can't
I don't know.
that.
Like to me, sauce is on anything. Like if it's not made with the sauce and then you're like, let me put some extra sauce on it. Then that's just hiding what that food was supposed to be.
What you're doing is you're insulting the cook. That's
Exactly. My dad used to be a chef.
I see that.
My dad used to be a chef.
Like, bro, like my future stepson over here, right? Love the kid. And nene blanquito, pero we love him anyway. Okay. Homeboy, bro, he'll be coming over sometimes and mom be like cooking all this great Puerto Rican food. And all of a sudden he busts out the ranch. And I look at him like, mother, do you want to be part of this family? Like, are you out of your mind? And Papi goes, déjalo, él no sabe.
Déjalo, él no sabe.
Yeah, I've been training my nephew and my niece, like, yo, don't follow what your mother does because this is not acceptable.
We can't take you to the Puerto Rican Day Parade in June because if you put ranch on anything, it is
crazy. I think I just booked a show on that weekend. Like I got hit up and they go, yo, we got you for the beginning of June. They requested you, and I go, I know why y'all requested me.
Dude, it's like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Like getting booked
I'm not mad at it.
or typecasted. Like part of me goes, it's like, really? It's not because I'm funny. It's because I'm Puerto Rican. Also, part of me goes, damn right, because I'm Puerto Rican, motherfucker.
Bro, I've auditioned for Hector 1,000 times, bro.
Hector. Oh my God. Okay. I'm Theo Chuchi. Don't worry about it. You know,
yeah, every time my acting agent sends me like a commercial audition or something, it legit says Hector. I was like, okay, I get you.
So Eugene, when you were talking earlier about leaning into your Latino-ness, your being Puerto Rican, and you know, doing your comedy and your jokes kind of based on that, right? Like now that we are in 2024, where we're kind of like in this new culture, I want to say a new age, because everything's kind of changing and everything, right? In entertainment and comedy, you know, how things are being portrayed. And one of the things that are changing is like a lot is the big demographic, right? And being Latino, growing up in the US, right? In general, either be Florida, Texas, New York, right? There's a lot more Latin people living in the States who are bilingual. How do you approach that? And like, as a comic, right? And now that you're leaning into that, are you finding more of, you know, de los nuestro, kind of like of our type of people in your community?
Yeah, I think people relate to me more, but you know, I didn't grow up, like I said, I didn't grow up around other Latinos. It was, when I was born in Gainesville, Florida, 1990. Yeah. And when I was
white
born,
boy, bro, you're seriously a white boy. You're Florida cracker.
But listen, when I was born, they had just arrested the Gainesville Ripper. Y'all know him, the serial killer?
Yeah.
They caught that dude camping in the woods behind our house.
What?
So on God. They caught, so I believe don't hold me to the date, but I think it was like August of 1990 that they caught this dude. I was born that November.
Dun, dun, dun.
So as soon as I was born, my mother was like, yo, we going out of here. And we left. And I grew up in Illinois, like central Illinois. It was farm. And if you went far enough, you could find the hood. And so I didn't feel like I fit in growing up. I think that's why I'm a comedian. And I think like I was always looking for my people, but I wasn't what I went to school with. And then it's kind of why I fell in love with hip hop too, because at least, I would listen to that. And, we had Fat Joe, Big Pun, and people. I'm like, okay, at least they're doing something. And I think that kind of, that's probably where my accent came from and everything. Because once I got like 17, 18, I moved out to the hood and just kicked it there. But like, I'm just the whole, like I said, the Puerto Rican boot camp thing came from when I would go spend time with my family. So like when I would go like on vacation and we in New York for 2 months, or I would play basketball and come down to Orlando, and I would be here the whole summer with my uncle on Cimarron. So like I would be going to these little pockets where I would find us, and then most of the year I would be by myself again. And I think in terms of like other people relating to that is like, first off, I think everybody is just looking for who they really are. I think we all have an identity crisis. I think we're all just really trying to figure out, who am I? And also like, I'm like the older generation's grandson. And then I'm this new generation where they go, oh, he's like me. So like, I kind of get to play both.
Wow.
I think that's the beautiful thing about like our generation, like 80s, 90s, early 2000, that generation per se, because we've kind of experienced like all the Armageddons. We've experienced all the changes in technology. We went from fucking, landline to beeper to cell phone to fucking wireless iPhones, like literally right in the last 30 years, bro. We've seen all those changes. Yeah, exactly.
8 apocalypses, Y2K, 9/11, 2012, 2014, 2016, the eclipse a month ago. It's a whole thing. We're just survivors at this point, There's a thing, and I think our generation, not just the Latino aspect, but I think this generation, the millennial generation, I think we're going to be what they're going to call the next greatest generation. Not because we're lazy. I think it's because out of necessity. In the world that we're living in, we're having to kind of bring back a lot of the old school things that our grandparents used to do. Like, I don't know about you, Eugene, but there's so many hippie girls that I know nowadays that are my age that are canning, that are starting to do all these crazy things. And I'm just over here like 10 years ago, that was just some weird shit. But now it's like the norm. It's
my cousin turned into a hippie, bro, and moved back to Puerto Rico.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, it became part of the hippie culture to do it, but now it's becoming a necessity with the rising food prices and all these things. And then, the comedian is now we have to be like, hey, how do we address this? Because this isn't a game anymore. Like it used to be a game 10 years ago. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to be fine. The boomers, blah, blah, blah. Now we're being called the boomers. And the reality is that we're probably going to be the next greatest generation if you start looking at the tea leaves, right? How many guys online, when you're just scrolling, are taking old Air Forces, revamping them, changing them up, and reselling them for triple the price? Like, we're so resourceful as a generation. And then I think about the Latino community and that aspect, and when you bring down the microns on it, it's like we were doing it before everybody else by 4 or 5 years, and now just the gringos, the white people, love y'all, but like y'all are now just starting to do that too. But we've been doing it for a while.
That's where my hustler mentality comes from, is my dad. Like my dad still had that immigrant mentality when my whole life. And I would go do jobs with him and he'd be like, dude, you could do this now when you're 13, 14, but you better be doing something better than this when you become an adult. He goes, I gave up my life for you guys to have a good life. He goes, so I'm out here busting my ass. But just make sure you're doing better than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the sentiment of a lot of Puerto Rican and Latin men that have grown up over here, and women too, right? I hear it all the time. But a friend of the show, Juan Ayala, shout out to Juan, same thing. His philosophy. His dad told him, he said, "Lo que vayas a hacer, Sé el mejor en lo que vayas a hacer. Be the best at what you're going to do, right? And that's the philosophy I take with me too, because our dad, same thing, right? We grew up with that military mindset. My dad was in the Air Force, so we grew up with that discipline around the house. So that's how it was for us. And I think that if you're people like us, and I say like us that are Latino growing up in this generation in the United States that have the best of both worlds, right? We have an understanding of how to get shit done, just like Danny said. And I honestly believe that this generation, the people that were born in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, we're going to be the next Rockefellers. We're going to be the next JP Morgan Chases. We're going to be the next big names and families that you hear about, that people are going to read about for the next 100 and 200 years. That's this generation, bro. People don't even realize it. What you're doing, what Danny's doing, what I'm doing, bro, we are changing generational lives and legacies forever, bro. You don't even realize it, and we're doing it in real time.
You know, that's a big dream. I agree with you guys that there are going to be certain people like that. I don't know if my goal was always just to be the best at this, though. Like my goal was.
It doesn't matter what you choose. It's the fact that you're willing to put in the hours to be the best, right? Like there's some kid from, Chicago, Illinois, let it be you, right? Or whoever, that maybe he wants to be the best financier. He's the guy to break down the walls for this generation to be able to get to the next level, right? And like Elon Musk is not that old. He's what, 45, 50?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's technically Gen Z, but he's like in that cusp too. He's not old, and look what he's doing.
He's like Gen X, I think.
It doesn't matter. He's young enough to be a cultural influence, but old enough to have influence because of who he is.
So let me pose this to you, Danny. Like for me, like I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I would love to be like a superstar and do the Madison Square Garden thing and all that. But I think in terms of like the comic that I want to be respected like it's Patrice. Like I want that kind of, I don't know if notoriety is the right word, but like I want that kind of respect where people go, that was the guy though. That's my goal, is to be that guy.
It's funny. I think we've had this conversation before. But I agree with what you're saying as far as comedy goes. I think for me, when I think about greatness, yes, playing Madison Square Garden, I think it's like every person on the East Coast. That's like a notch on the cap. But like to me, it's like the influence, right? Like a Patrice O'Neal's. It's a great example. Like freaking John Leguizamo, whether you agree with him or not. And I say that because he's so controversial nowadays, right? But like the dude was doing things in comedy and in his one-man shows back in the 90s that wasn't even heard of. Mm-hmm. Like he was literally cut from out of his own cloth. He did not care, but if he dressed like a woman, he didn't care if he looked like a freaking idiot. He did Mario Brothers.
How many times I watched Pest, bro?
Bro, the Pest, bro, dude. And I think about it like that, right? Like the things that I'm trying to do in comedy and podcasting is I want to do something different. I don't just want to be the best, but I want to be different. And I think that's why me and Jose finally linked up after many years of us doing our own thing. It was like, we have this vision of doing what we want at our own terms, but doing it the best and creating that ecosystem for people like you, people like myself, people like Juan, people like Donut, for them to come on and be like, wow, we're not just a US thing. We're international. Like our numbers are showing international numbers all over South America, all over Europe. And it's like two Puerto Rican kids that grew up in Miami and Kissimmee. We're interviewing freaking giants of the industry. And this is just the beginning. And I'm not saying that we're going to be, like Patrick Bet-David. I look at Patrick Bet-David and look, he did that for the Iranian community. Now I'm about to do this for the Puerto Rican community 10 times over. And people are going to be like, Patrick Bet who? No disrespect to Patrick Bet, but it's like, that's my mentality. And Jose has the same mentality. It's like, we don't compare ourselves to anyone. I want to be the best comic that I can be, but comedy is not my final goal. To be a complete entertainer is my final goal. And doing this and, talking about the things that I love to talk about, let it be God, family, conspiracy theory, and being that multifaceted guy has always been my goal. And I love that when I meet people like you, because I remember when we first met at I think it was Orlando Meets or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we met at some weird or something.
I don't know. I remember you looked at me after I did my set. You're like, where you come from? I'm like, Texas. You're like, no. Where you come from?
Yeah, that has been.
Again, some people know. People know what people know.
like, no, where you come from? And I'm like, I grew up down the street. He was like, that makes sense. All right, cool. We could rock with this. And it's one of those things where it's like, I've had the blessed opportunity. Well, I've made magazines. I've made, top 10 charts all over Texas doing comedy and being able to do comedy on my own terms. But like, my goal wasn't just to do Texas. My goal has always been, it's like, let's expand these horizons to places where comedians don't necessarily think of. Has the model been set by guys like Joe Rogan and all this? Yes. But I look at that model and I'm like, it has restrictions, because I've never seen Joe Rogan go to a Latino audience and fucking talk about the issues that we care about. Not to say he doesn't have influence, not to say that he's not an important guy, but when I'm talking, when I listen to Uncle Joey in comparison, I'm like, this dude's talking about me. He's talking about people like me.
Yo, we all got an uncle like Uncle Joey.
We do.
We all got one. Like, I love Coco. As soon as I heard him, I go, dude, he feels like family already.
Bro.
So I want to switch the conversation up to a little bit, because I know that you both do jiu-jitsu, so I'm assuming that you're a fan of the fight game, right, bro? You like boxing, you like MMA,
I love all things combat sports. If I never went to an open mic, I'd still be fighting to this day.
There we go, bro. So this past weekend we had a big mega fight. It was King Ryan Garcia going up against Haney, and bro, this fight had a lot of hype behind it, a lot of marketing. Not from an actual like marketing per se, but social media marketing, and it was genius. The shit that Ryan Garcia pulled off is a fucking out of a playbook out of WWE, bro. It's unbelievable what he did. From the point of like going off where people thought that he was going crazy, that people thought that he was getting overdosed and on coke all the time on social media, to bro, like drinking during fight camp, bro. Like he was drinking every single day during fight camp. Vegas had him plus 500 in the odds. Haney winning at negative 900. So Vegas had him losing because of all the shit that he put on social media. And fucking Ryan came out without barely trying, made Haney look like a bitch, knocked him down, broke his jaw, won the fight by decision, and became champion. Now he's looking to...
Well, he's not champ.
Correction.
Well,
he didn't become champion because he didn't make weight.
Oh, it wasn't for a belt. That's right. It wasn't for a belt.
Yeah.
But anyways...
But he won the fight.
So during the build up to this fight, bro, he starts talking about Bohemian Grove. You know about you were at a conspiracy theory show a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So I know a little bit. I know a little bit.
So Bohemian Grove, bro, is a group that gets together once a year. It's all the elite in the United States, politicians, powerful people from corporate America, and they all get together to kind of figure out what the agenda for the country is going to be economically, politically, whatever they want to do. All the decisions are done at Bohemian Grove, and this is very well documented. We had a Freemason on the show who's very well versed in Bohemian Grove and the ceremonies and the rituals that they do and all that shit, right? There's a lot of shady shit that goes down at Bohemian Grove, bro. Like there's like this big ass owl. Well, I'll show you a picture. Danny, pull that up whenever you get a moment. Just pull up Bohemian Grove and pull up the owl. And basically they do like these mock rituals over there. They do all these things. And Ryan Garcia came out on social during a Twitter X Spaces with Andrew Tate and was talking about, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. I was at Bohemian Grove and I saw what they were doing. And he's like, what do you mean I saw what they were doing? So this is the statue that they do their mock sacrifices on. So this is some secret society shit, bro. This is like Skull and Bones, fucking Freemasons. Like this is some secret society shit. So Ryan Garcia was apparently invited to this party. He saw some shit. He recorded some shit, right? and apparently it has to do with some child trafficking. So there's a clip of the interview during with Pat with PBD talking about that, and PBD is like, listen, spill the beans. What did you see? What happened, bro? And I want to share this with you guys, and I want to kind of break it down and see what you get your thoughts on it. Let me bring it up.
I mean, he looks coked out.
Ryan's so funny.
So I want to read this to you. Okay, some of the events on what happened. Okay, during this is a timeline here. Let's go through some of it. So Ryan Garcia starts beef with Jake Paul. Then Ryan Garcia discusses Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Then Ryan Garcia slams Logan Paul's prime drink. Ryan Garcia accuses Victor Conte, Devin Haney of cheating.
Oh.
Then Ryan Garcia addresses prediction of Baltimore Bridge collapsing. Then Ryan Garcia tweets he will kill Devin Haney.
Sex.
Then Ryan,
which is wild, dude, because he did.
Yo, did he say that's facts?
He got the bridge collapse right too. So, bro, check it. It gets crazy.
Garcia, New York Boxing Commission evaluation, the whole mental thing that you said you're going to sue them. Then Ryan Garcia and Alicia Baumgardner beef. Then Garcia launches X-rated tirade at the New York Mets. Ryan Garcia cleared to fight by the New York.
So this is the timeline, pretty much the whole marketing scheme leading up to the fight. This is the entire timeline. So this is just a really short version.
Boxing Commission. Ryan Garcia touches base with influencer Andrew Tate. There's all these stories.
Yeah,
and every day it's something new that you were putting out there.
Yeah.
Okay. The part I want to know is which one of these are actual opinions that you have? How much of it was antics?
Well, ask me. Which one?
Okay, so go through it. So Bohemian Grove. You said you have a video that you saw.
Well, there's actually many stories on it, and there's actually a lot of people that have come forward to me, and there's actually really people in the front lines of all this. I'm in contact with them. His name is Jaco. I'm not going to say his last name, but basically he's a big advocate. He goes to Congress all the time to speak about child sex trafficking, and he could confirm all these things. A lot of these things, I have experienced not only like spiritually in my spiritual senses. Before I even knew about the Bohemian Grove, he's a testament to it. I had a vision like in 2021. I seen like a beast coming out of San Francisco, and I seen the San Francisco Bridge, and then I seen like the woods, and I seen people doing really weird things. And I went up to my friend. I said, "Hey man, is there a place that people do weird things in the woods? I'm just curious." And he was like, "What are you talking about, Bohemian Grove?" And I didn't know what it was, but that was 2021. So I've just been able to I'm very spiritually gifted, so I could see things before they happen because of.
Pause that.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but. He's got video. He's got people coming forward. He says that Congress is getting involved now. Do we believe anything that this guy's saying?
Hell no.
Hype
Hell
up.
Hell no. Hell no.
All right, Danny, break it down. What do you think?
Hell no. Here's the thing. All right. He admitted during the podcast, and I watched the entire thing in preparation for this. He admitted that all of it was freaking work, right? He admitted all of it. So even if he does have video, how do we know it's real? Can you believe a known liar?
And that's the other thing, right? Because now anything can be altered, right? Anything can be digitized. Anything can be fabricated. I mean, AI. So it's like, how do we know that this video is real?
How do I know Jose is real? How do I know you're not an AI version of my brother? All right. Okay. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Whether you believe him or not, he pulled the greatest move in combat sports that hasn't been done since Muhammad Ali. He acted like an insane man right before one of the biggest fights in his life. And guess who else did that? Muhammad Ali against Sonny Liston. Muhammad Ali went crazy. He called him, antagonized him, all this other crap, and ended up whooping Sonny Liston. And that's exactly what happened with Ryan Garcia.
See, for me, if you take the fight into account, right? Because we also have to put the fact that he just got finished by Tank Davis, right? Garcia was that guy. And then
Garcia was like fighting at 140, 144, bro. He looked like a skeleton, dude.
Okay, so I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is this. His stock was at an all-time low. So
okay.
How do you get that stock back up? Get eyes on you. How do you get eyes on you nowadays?
All press is good press, baby.
Now watch how he fought. When he fought Haney, that wasn't a guy who was out of his mind. That was a guy who clearly had a game plan and knew exactly what he was doing. If you watch,
for sure.
And if you watch the way he fought Tank, yes, he was drained. Yeah, he was whatever, too light, and it probably wasn't in good condition. He didn't fight smart when he fought Tank.
Mm-hmm.
But when he fought Haney, he was zeroed in and knew exactly what he was doing.
While drinking a beer every single day during the
Exactly.
So he says, right? Like here's the thing, right? He admitted during the interview that he lied, like I said earlier. And you have to think, okay, let's say he did drink. You've been around the fight game forever, just like I have, Eugene. I've known plenty of pro fighters that, they'll drink up to 2 or 3
John
weeks
Jones
before.
was doing coke fighting.
Fuck, thank you. Best example of all time. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Ricardo Mayorga was fighting for the world title while smoking a cigarette at the press conference.
At the weigh-in. Yeah.
It's not new. What he did was just rehash an old bit and just did it his own way. He modernized it for 2024. And now, unfortunately, I can't believe anything he does in the buildup of a fight. Do I think he has the skills to be one of the best champions in modern day? Oh, 100%. But now when you see the buildup of a fight, it's like, do I believe him or do I write him off as a clown? I don't know if I'll write him off as a clown because, whooping on Devin Haney, 4 knockdowns in a 12-round fight ain't no
Haney
slouch.
was in the pound for pound list, and Garcia wasn't even near that.
And he whooped on that boy.
Yeah.
Like whooped on that boy. And here's the thing. If you want to talk about conspiracies when it comes to boxing, is the freaking ref was paid.
Bro, that ref, yo.
That ref was
definitely paid off, bro.
That ref was paid off to save
I'll
him,
tell you, that's why it's hard for me to watch boxing sometimes. It's just because the amount of corruption within it.
It's just like wrestling nowadays, bro. Everything's kind of predetermined. They got their golden boy. No pun intended.
Yo, that hurt me when they caught Oscar out there like that too. By the way, I was a damn.
I know.
My whole life.
I know, man. No, but boxing used to be like the thing for us, bro. Like that was like a family activity. When there was a huge fight, especially when Felix Trinidad was coming up.
That was
huge, bro. Like, all of our family get together, like that a joke from John Leguizamo, 20 Puerto Ricans and one hibachi, going side by side like that, blasting salsa music so loud it interferes with NASA communications. Yeah, bro, it was like that, and it was a thing. But then I don't know what happened, bro. It just it stopped being good, but hopefully. It
got competition, is what happened.
Yeah,
they got new competition in the form of mixed martial arts.
That's true.
Yeah,
but like my dad used to train me to be a boxer. My dad wanted to be a boxer his whole life, so like he would like ride his bike when I was young, and I would be like running miles behind him, and he's just drinking beer, yelling shit at me.
that sounds like my dad
your Rocky montage.
Yeah. Except
Eugene, so all right, bro. So this is mainly a conspiracy show. You did a conspiracy show with Sam Tripoli.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a conspiracy show before? Do you partake in conspiracy theories? Are there any conspiracy theories that you're like, I believe that, or there's any ones that you're like, okay,
I believe. Conspiracy theories have been proven true, like MK Ultra and things like that. So like I believe in certain things. I'll tell you, some of those people at that conspiracy show is like, all right, now you've gone crazy to me. So some things are like obviously true. I mean, I don't even believe in our government. I believe there's a secret society that runs everything behind us. I think it's crazy to not believe that. Or even if we take something as simple as like, is there aliens out there? Of course. It'd be narcissistic to believe that we're the only intelligent beings in the vast universe. But then there's other things.
Now, some people argue that aliens don't exist, but that aliens are actually interdimensional beings or / demons. Like, where do you sit with that?
So I don't believe in demons.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because I don't believe in angels. And I don't believe in God or any of that. So like, to me, if I don't believe in it, I can't take one part of that and believe in that part.
Mm.
Okay.
I believe everything that's living is either plant or animal, or bacteria or whatever. We want to take that route too. But like, I don't believe like in terms of God. Danny said he likes to talk about God. I like to talk about God too, but I believe we're all God.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing, right? Like, I think that we live in a terrestrial plane, that there are things we can prove, there are things we can't prove. I also believe that there's a spiritual plane, right? That's where God and other entities reside in. I'm not saying I can prove that, because I can't. I'll be the first one to tell you it's a belief I have. I can't prove it. I can tell you I've had anecdotal evidence that I've experienced in my life, and you can take that for what it is. But I could tell you enough that I've seen some stuff, and I believe it's like people who've seen aliens, right? I've never seen an alien, but I meet somebody who's seen an alien, and I'm like, I believe you've seen an alien. you know, um, I don't know. It's hard, right? Because the subject of God can be misconstrued in a lot of ways, right? Because there's the spiritual and like the religion aspect of it. Then there's like other parts of it where it's like, well, things happen that you can't explain, right? Like miracles that happen every day that you can't explain. Like if you're telling me that a cow, for example, I'm in Texas, I have to use a cow reference, right? Is born and walks immediately after being born. That's some sort of miracle, some sort of design, right? Some sort of intelligent design. You have to believe in something. Now, can I sit there and tell you who was the designer? No. I tell you who I believe was the designer and where it comes from and why it's there, but I don't know the exact truth. I know what I believe to be the truth. Now, is it factual? That's where the debate comes in. And that's where I'm open-minded to hear other people's opinions, but I still stand firm in what I believe in. It's like, this is what I believe in. I'm open to another person's interpretation, but like at the end of the day, when I go down my lived experiences and what I've seen and versus what I know, and I do that's when I start doing things, and it doesn't take away from what you believe. It's a differing opinion. It's like, to put it to you, in comedy, how many people say, hey, you have to do, comedy has to be, one-liners? No, it doesn't. Comedy has to be storytelling. No, it doesn't. Comedy has to be sketches. No, it doesn't. It could be all of it. It could be none of it.
For me, because I have a very religious father, and he came up to me when I was like 11 and asked me if I believed in God. And the easiest answer for me is to just say no, because then I don't have to go through the explanation of what I really believe. Yeah. Because sometimes when you talk about what you really believe, it takes those people who claim religion, like they can't understand that somebody would have a belief like that. Like they're just too tied up in whatever their book or whatever their section of religion says. For me, I believe like if we're talking God, like a lifeguard God sitting up there watching us, and I don't believe in that one bit. But I believe if we want to call anything God, then it's just this entire universe, and we're all just cells of God designed to work.
So do you believe more, and I love this conversation, and this is what the show is about, is really kind of getting everybody's truth and then have the audience decipher it for themselves, right? Because I have very close friends who are like you, that don't believe in God, but they believe in a source, right? In one universal source, and we're all fragments of that source, right?
That's similar to how I believe. And if we want to call that God, I'm okay with that being called God. But in layman's terms, for most people, they have their idea of what they believe God is. So usually it's just easier to say, no, I don't believe in God. But if we want to call that universal source God, by all means, I believe in that.
And that's totally fine, because if you're a good person, if you have good intentions, and you're not, and you feel, if you're loving your neighbor as you love yourself, bro, then that's really what it's all about. I can't come here and tell you that you're a sinner and that you're a bad person because you don't believe in God, because I'm not your God to tell you that. I'm not your father.
But vice
to tell you
versa.
that.
I've seen religion do great things for people. My father being one of them. My father at one point was an alcoholic, and he started diving more into his religion. And then my grandfather had like terrible health, and he had actually been given 3 different days he was supposed to die. And as we were going through this, my dad just kept getting deeper and deeper into religion, and it turned him into like, my dad's like the best guy I know. He's such a great father. He's like legit the best. And to think that his belief doesn't play in that would be crazy.
Here's my take on organized religion, and I'm going to echo what you said, and I'm going to add to it. It's, at least when it comes to Christianity, right? Doesn't matter what denomination. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Baptist. I don't care if you're Pentecostal. Christianity as a whole has done more good for humanity than it's done bad. I'm not saying it hasn't done bad, because it's done plenty of bad, and we can get into that rabbit hole of Catholic churches and all this other crap. But the moral framework of modern day society is based off Christian values, whether you agree with it or not.
Of course,
that's something to a debate to be had. But you think about, thou shalt not steal, bruh. Come on, like, you steal, you go to jail. Like, you don't steal. The reason penalties for divorce, and Jose and I have both been through divorce, is so steep is because, hey, when you marry your spouse, you're supposed to stay with it. Whether you have opinions of government should be involved in marriage or not is one thing, but the fact that moral framework has been set down from those Christian or Judeo-Christian values, or whatever you call it, is part of the reason we have such a functioning free society in today's world. Because even if you're a full-blown atheist, you still believe in the framework of morality based off Christian values.
Well, let me piggyback off that, because I took a world religions class in college, and I was interested in hearing what different types of religion believe in, and where that all is similar, where it differs. And it kind of turned into a philosophy class. Mm-hmm. And at one point, our professor asked us, what would you do if you knew that you had a date when the world was going to end? And all these people were giving answers like, oh, I would just spend time and love my family, and I would do this and I would do that. Or I would just make sure that, I tried to be the nicest person. And I raised my hand. I go, you guys are all lying right now. Everyone in here is a liar, because once you tell me there's a date that this ends, you have now told me that no rules exist anymore. And if there's no rules within a society, shit is going to get crazy, because we all have certain instinctual things that we keep at bay because, hey, I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to get in trouble. I want to be able to spend time with certain people, and I don't want to have my freedoms taken away. I said, honestly, if you told me the world was going to end at this time, I'm probably going to kill everybody in this room, just right off the top. And they're like, oh, that's crazy. And they go, why would you do that? And I go, because there's at least one of you who would try to get me. And I go, so now we have taken out the framework for being a good human and being a good person, and brought us back down to just being animals trying to survive. And if we're going to live on that plane, now I have to be the savage, and I have to make sure that I can take care of who I need to take care of.
Don't. He went purge on us real quick, Jose.
So we know who we getting on the team for the purge.
Hey, I'm just saying.
but I believe that, because
you can entertain them and put them to sleep at the same time.
I have a biology degree, so I've studied animals and instincts. And I don't think we're anything different than another animal. Yes, we're
the only species that pays bills and has consciousness, but other than that, you're right.
We're the only animals we think have consciousness.
Interesting.
Got me on the bills.
Why do you say that?
I mean, because there's intelligent animals out there, and to say that we would be the only ones that don't have consciousness, I mean,
everything has consciousness, though.
Exactly.
Everything has consciousness. What I'm saying is a living being that has the conscious to make decisions, for example, or pay bills, or like a dog can't speak or make the a decision to.
No,
they can make decisions.
I think dogs can make decisions.
Okay.
I think my dog knows, hey, I shouldn't do this. I should do that. That's a decision. I mean, we're making higher level decisions, of course.
Yes.
It's funny. There was a study that came out a couple years ago about dolphin populations across the world, right? How depending on where the dolphin is region at, because they don't have countries, or they have pods and colonies, but they don't have like a specific country. If this colony is from South Asia, they speak slightly different than the colony from the North Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's something to be said that other creatures in this world have consciousness and some sort of language. Maybe it's not the language that we know of as humans.
Take this even further. There's a study that came out that whales can communicate with certain other types of sea life through. So like, what the fuck is that?
And there's actually something to that, Eugene. We had a guest on our show that's been on the show a few times, Donut from the Donut Factory. You met him at the show. It's,
Yeah.
He did a great breakdown. He called it the Illuminati dolphins, but there was actually a study done about 30 or 40 years ago. It was a CIA study that they were using dolphins to communicate telepathically, and they were successful because the dolphin brain is twice the size of the human brain. So they were using dolphins to do spy work, bro. So like to spy on the Russians during the Cold War and to do all that type of stuff. And then they went a step further to see if they could try to communicate with aliens, because there's a theory that aliens don't come from space. They come from the sea. They come from, which kind of makes sense because if you think about it, because if you think about it, the sea, the planet is mainly water, and there's a vast majority of the sea that we have not explored. So that kind of makes sense. But like, where do you sit with that?
I mean, I could believe certain things like that. I don't know if us as humans are able to have figured out the technology to communicate with dolphins like that. I don't think it's out of question. I think it can be done. I mean, you can listen to like different biologists go out and they figured out what certain sounds whales make, and this is kind of what they're saying. So that's the study that they're sharing with us openly. So who knows what they know beyond that. In terms of aliens being underwater, there's so much things we don't know about under the sea. I mean, we thought giant squids were a myth until they started coming up. Like, there's so much. They say we've explored like outer space more than we've explored our oceans. There's got to be some crazy shit down there.
Oh, for sure, bro. I mean, when you have like guys like James Cameron going down to the Mariana Trench, bro, like that is some deep, deep waters, bro. And there's places there that we don't even know about yet. So there's species down there that have not been discovered that we're just finding out about, bro.
There's more species undiscovered in the ocean than there are that we know about.
Exactly.
And that's underwater. There's places on land that we don't know about.
Now, what about flat Earth? Where do you sit on flat Earth, bro?
I believe the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Man, we were hoping he thought space was fake.
No, bro, because there's some people out there. There are some hardcore flat earthers, bro. Like I'm here.
I knew a guy that would always like this dude I used to work with back in the day, big ass dude, and he used to like try to bully people into believing that Earth was flat, but like it wasn't me. He can't bully me, but he would like bully these other people and be like, "This is why the Earth's flat. This is why the Earth's flat." And then he got hit by a car and died, so we know who won that one.
Whoa. Yeah, bro.
If there was a God, he was tired of that shit.
Let's say in a hypothetical though. All right, and this is for the both of you. In a hypothetical, let's say if we did find out that NASA was wrong the entire time, they come out with a public report, the fucking president comes out, Congress makes a public statement that the Earth is flat. How would your fucking life change?
Not a damn thing.
You still got to pay bills. Rent's still due on the 1st.
That's how I feel about. Yo, but that's how I feel about elections.
For real, bro.
Oh my God.
Except in Puerto Rico, bro. In Puerto Rico, everything's closed on elections.
Yeah. But like here, if it ain't on the local level, like everybody's like, oh, or what way do you believe, you Democrat, Republican, whatever? I'm still gotta go do what I gotta do. And the only time I've ever had an election affect me that I'm aware of is I was gonna go visit Cuba, and then Donald Trump signed some shit that didn't let me go visit Cuba. It's the only time I could think of in my life that was like, okay, thanks a lot.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what political party you believe in. If you subscribe to the binary party system that the United States does espouse, you're losing anyway.
Well, that's the
right?
crazy thing
Part of the problem.
because
part of
we're
the problem.
technically supposed to be a multi-party system, but it's clearly
It's a binary choice. It's either you pick for taxes now or you pick for taxes later. It's really what it is. Every freaking election, right? It's like, are we going to go with the guy that speaks crazy or the dead guy who looks alive? I don't know. Either way, it's a bad choice. It's a lack of choice, and the only people that suffer are the American people.
Of
And,
course, of course.
You know,
I mean,
like,
I don't even vote based on party lines at all. Like, I just try to go, who do I think is a good person? Because the rest of the shit is going to be controlled.
It's all
anyway.
wrestling, bro. Exactly.
At
It's
this
all
point,
wrestling.
at this point, I'm voting for the guy who I can make the best jokes out of. And I think we've done enough jokes on both of the two candidates. I think we need a whole new person to write new shit.
I know these jokes.
You
are
know,
getting
for me,
old.
like, because everybody goes, "Oh, yo, when Trump was the president, there had to be so many jokes for you," and it's like, not really, because now
No.
that social media is out there, everybody's doing them already.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Where do you sit on Trump, man? Are you a Trump guy, or like are you
I'm
like
not an anybody
okay,
guy.
or you like all right?
I'm not an anybody guy. Like, I don't think Trump's the devil that's the left tried to make him out to be. I don't think he's a great guy, but also I don't think Biden is the best guy either. So, like, I don't really, honestly, I don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're pawns. We're not talking about the king and queen here. We're talking about pawns. So, like, for me, it's like, you know, it's like going, yo, do you want this? Like, I don't know.
It's a simple. To me, it's simple. Do you want
It's
to
like,
get?
I don't believe
Do you
him.
want to get? Do you want Vaseline or not? That's really what it is, right? It's that's the simple question. When you go vote
Do you want
in
lube or
November,
no lube? Which one
do
do you
you
want?
want Vaseline or K1 jelly? Either way, you're gonna get up the butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to keep it clean for you.
The person we got to worry about is who's Ryan Garcia's talking about. That's who we got to worry about. We don't got to worry about Trump or Biden.
Exactly.
Of course they wanted. Of course they wanted Biden to win. Why wouldn't you get a guy that you could just wheel around and puppet?
Bro, it's like Weekend at Bernie's with Biden.
Or on the other hand, why wouldn't you get Trump to win too? They're fine with that. This guy's gonna go say some crazy shit, and then he's gonna be the face of that. Why he's saying all this nonsense? We can do whatever we want.
Which is what they did when he was in office anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So both sides work out for whoever the real higher power is.
Yeah,
That's why I say, bro, these politics is just like the WWE. They show a face on TV, right? Oh, you're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad. You hate women. No, you hate women. And then behind the scenes, bro, we got them good, didn't we, bro? Let's go have a beer, bro. Like, that's
Like, for
exactly
me-
what it is. That's what
For
it is.
me, everybody was like, yo, like, people like to talk about politics openly now, and I'm okay with that. But to me, are you the Celtics or are you Lakers, right? Because we're playing basketball, but you just got to figure out which team you're playing on.
I get it, bro. I get it. So, Eugene, what you got coming down the pipeline, bro? Plug in your shows, anything that you got going on, so people can go to your show, bro.
Oh, I got some shows. Go to EugeneTorresComedy.com. I don't know where they are off the top of my head. November, I'm trying to shoot my first special, Small Town Latino. We talked a little bit about kind of my upbringing a little bit, but it's it's an autobiographical like story. Like, I always like comedy to kind of have an arc. And it's really kind of a love letter to my father. I talked about my father a lot, but it's really kind of like a love letter to my father. And he don't know that yet, but I'm going to bring him up at the end. And so we'll probably cry like bitches and shit. But like,
que lindo, que chulo.
yeah. So let's see. I'm doing some spots around town. I'll be at the Tampa Funny Bone. That'll be cool. And yeah.
Yeah, you got the Milk District coming out tomorrow here in Orlando, so make sure you guys get your tickets for that. You're going to be at the Wine Drunk Comedy in Orlando as well on April 28th, and on May 7th in Melbourne. So make sure you guys check them out. Go to
Danny,
Eugene.
when you come back, man, I'll get you plugged into all those Florida shows easy.
Let's go. Trust me. I'm on my way back. I'm just trying to make sure everything works out for my home living situations.
Oh, of course.
Once I get the home living situations, it's coming out, but it's happening. Trust me, though, it's in the works.
Guys,
it's
an
open secret now.
Make sure you follow Eugene Torres at Eugene Torres Comedy on Instagram as well. Give him the subscribe on YouTube as well. And make sure you get your tickets for his show at EugeneTorresComedy.com. We really appreciate you for coming on the show, Eugene.
Anytime. It's always fun to talk with you both, man.
Oh,
Danny,
man.
good. I mean, I know we're on the internet, but good seeing you as always, my brother Jose.
I love you, dude.
Pleasure,
I love you, man. I can't wait to see you again. Next time we'll just train some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, do whatever. Maybe we'll get together and kick it. When you come back, Danny, get the squad together.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Bueno, mi gente, as always, make sure you follow the show on YouTube and on Rumble at Cultura Truth Project. Follow Gonzalez Media TV on Facebook, Instagram at Gonzalez Media TV. Subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. And support the show. Join the Supporters Club, Spreaker, $3 a month. Link in the description. Only place you can get the exclusive audio. You can't get it on Rumble. You can't get it on YouTube. Spreaker, supporters only club. So we love you guys. Appreciate you. Un abrazo. Los quiero mucho. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.